Hello, my name is Mark Collins. I'm from Gum Spring, Virginia. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share some background information about my painting entitled Of Primary Importance. My first birds and art experience was in 2012. The legendary hospitality of the staff of the Woods and Art Museum and the Wausau community quickly converted me into a devoted fan. So much so that in 2015, I began to think about a concept for a painting that I hoped would ensure my participation in the 50th Birds and Art exhibition. I guess you could say I'm a bit of a long-range planner. My primary objective was to create a painting that felt fun and celebratory, something that would illustrate the diversity and importance of birds and the exhibition in general. Initially, I conceived of a painting of a collection of birds, with each bird painted portrait style and housed within a unique gilded frame. The birds would be distinctive in personality, color, feather patterns, or other characteristics. I hoped the paintings would look like a collection of fine portraits on a gallery wall. But a small voice in my head made me realize something about this concept was a little stiff. After a while, it occurred to me that it might be entertaining to add an audience of quote-unquote real birds enjoying and evaluating the planned collection of bird portraits. I guess these birds had a voice of their own and ultimately claimed a larger presence in the painting, reducing the focal point to just one very different image of a bird, not at all the fine art bird portraits I initially imagined. Figuring out which birds should be part of the audience and how to arrange them was the next challenge. I knew I wanted an international flavor, a group of birds that would represent primary birding spots around the world. What I didn't realize was how hard it would be to create a pleasing composition with so many different birds. I spent many hours drawing thumbnail sketches of different groups of birds in varying arrangements. At a point when I thought I might not ever come up with a pleasing design, I suddenly noticed the birds had organized themselves in a way that evoked a fairly iconic shape, a shape that further enhanced the concept of the painting. In that moment, I knew I had my composition dilemma solved. If you study the painting carefully, perhaps that iconic shape will surprise you too. A final challenge was determining what should be featured inside the main frame, the focal point of the painting. Initially, I thought the central image should be a person, turning the idea of people looking at birds on its head. But the painting evolved in ways that I could not have predicted. Ultimately, I decided that evoking laughter was the essence of my original idea, and that a more primitive painting of a bird might be the solution. The next problem was figuring out how to revert to my less judgmental, childlike, artistic mind. That person existed a long time ago. Ironically, I imposed limits on myself and quickly sketched in ink as many birds as I could fit on a half sheet of copy paper in 1 minute. That turned out to be 4 birds. One of them is the bird you see. I forced myself not to make any corrections, but I did add other elements, the sun, ground, and flower, to balance the composition. I then made duplicate sketches of the design that I could color in using markers, crayons, and paint to help me decide which of these looks I preferred. Working with crayons made me feel young again, so I went with that. All joking aside, I also wanted the painting to have a serious message. The title, Of Primary Importance, reminds us that we are all responsible for the environment that birds inhabit, and that if we want to continue to be entertained and inspired by these magnificent creatures, we must embrace the idea that they are of primary importance and that it is our responsibility to honor, celebrate, and most of all, protect them. I hope you will enjoy the variety of interpretations of birds in art in this 50th exhibition.